One Piece does a lot of things well, and I think a lot of us would agree with that. Like, that's why we love and read the series so much. And one of those things among many is the power system. One Piece has an amazing power system. Granted, there are power systems out there that could be slightly better or be regarded as better. One is Nen in Hunter x Hunter, because Nen is very well fleshed out, very well explained. Some may say over-explained, but I think it's the perfect power system. The balance, the counters, the explanations, the creativity, it is amazing. But I think One Piece is right there with Devil Fruits and Haki. But speaking of Haki, really quickly, I want you guys to use your observation and click that subscribe button right below. Subscribe to the channel. I would certainly appreciate it. Drop a like as well. But I guess first thing, let me ask you guys, what do you prefer, Devil Fruits or Haki? Which is better in your opinion? Depending on the responses, we'll make an entire video about Devil Fruits versus Haki, which is actually better. But for right now, our focus is Haki. But of course, Devil Fruits are part of the entire power system. Oda initially wanted to make a story where the Devil Fruits were only rubber. Yeah. That is a thing. But for Haki, the entire point of this is to talk about why we love it and why we hate it. So I guess we can start with why we love Haki. Again, I mentioned the power system. And we know pre-time skip, the focus, it seemed, was mostly around Devil Fruits. Luffy having a Devil Fruit, running into different Devil Fruit users, and it felt like, okay, when you have a Devil Fruit, you are different. This is rare. And of course, Devil Fruits are rare. There are not that many Devil Fruits out there. But because every island we stumble into 1, 2, 3, or maybe 4 Devil Fruit users, we're like, they're not that rare, are they? But they're really, really rare. But that seemed to be the focus. The Marine that was introduced in Smoker, Luffy not being able to overcome these things, even when we met Ace, Crocodile, it seemed like Devil Fruits were super overpowered. How could you balance this, right? And I think for some stories, that's the issue, right? When you create someone that is untouchable, it's like, okay, you have to create some weird way for them to be defeated, and sometimes it doesn't make sense. I think Oda's power system is ingenious because not only creating Devil Fruits, but having a counter with Haki is amazing. Oda pre-time skip slipped in different mentions of Haki, where we started to wonder, okay, what is this Haki thing, right? In Skypiea, with Enel and Observation Haki, it seemed like it made him a god. It made him almost invincible. And we felt that way with Katakuri as well, until we knew his secret. Well, not his secret, but his downfall, his weakness. So then post Skypiea, we've been introduced to Haki, Observation Haki at least. It's interesting. Being able to observe and react to so many different things, that is insane. But what's next? What more is out there? We get to Amazon Lily. They can infuse their weapons with Haki, but they also have this thing where they're touching Luffy and it's hurting more than usual. Okay, what about post Enies Lobby? When Garp had the Fist of Love and it was hurting Luffy more than usual. Okay, something is going on here. We have to find out what it is. We get to Marineford, and Oda uses specific characters to somewhat tell us what's going on with Haki. Yeah, we can talk about Skypiea and Rayleigh. Of course, what Rayleigh did with Kizaru, I was like, okay, what? How is this possible? I remember like a popular theory back then. For some people that are around, you remember this. People were saying Rayleigh had on sea stone slippers. That's why he was able to block Kizaru. Because before then, we had no idea what was going on. Rayleigh used armor and Haki. Now, obviously, we know, but it wasn't nearly as prevalent. Marineford had tried to enforce some of that, but mostly Observation Haki. When Whitebeard stabbed out Kiji, said, well, you use Haki. Didn't work because I moved around it. What was that? We still don't know. We can assume it was Observation he used to dodge, but Whitebeard 100% used Haki. After Ace's death, we saw Marco and Vista. They slashed Akainu, and Akainu said, damn Haki users. So it was being mentioned up to that point, but it was very inconsistent. But we loved it because it represented a balance of what could possibly be, because the Devil Fruits were so overwhelming and so overpowered, it didn't seem like nothing could stop them. Then we get to Riskaina, and Rayleigh breaks down exactly what Haki is. Each type, how to master it, the peaks, the valleys, everything. Actually, that's not true. He gave the bare definitions of Haki. And so from there, of course, Luffy post-time skip, he learns Haki. And post-time skip seems to be more Haki focused, especially for Luffy, because that's an important part of his journey. Pre-time skip, it was about him finding out about himself, finding out about his Devil Fruit. And if you want to be more symbolic, finding his crew, that played a part. Post-time skip, it's about growth. And that's what happened. Him coming out of it, using Gear 2nd with armament, the Gear 3rd, everything was amplified with Haki. With Gear 4th, it showed us the potential of what Luffy could be. Now we get all the way to Wano with Luffy having Conqueror's Haki coating, right? So now Conqueror's Haki, it is useful. He can coat attacks in Conqueror's Haki, but also with Armament Haki, he can use Ryo, but also with Observation Haki, he can use Future Sight. There's now a balance in the world where just because you have a Devil Fruit doesn't make you overpowered automatically, because there's several different types of Haki that can counter you and definitely put you down. So we love Haki. We love just how creative it can be. And Oda's somewhat throwing a wrinkle in there with Ashura, and we're not really sure if Ashura itself is Conqueror's Haki, because Ashura is the embodiment of Zoro's will and his spirit. So how do you explain that? But that goes to my issue and the reasons why we hate Haki, and the only reason why the One Piece power system isn't absolutely the best. The explanations of Haki is mid at best. Throughout the story, again, the interactions in regards to Haki, it's been very vague. We're not really sure, and some of it we can speculate and try to discern things for ourselves, but we're not really sure, and that's a lot of One Piece. So that could be, you know, the good and the bad. Because things are so nuanced, because things are unexplained, we can make videos like this and speculate, and we have fun with it. But for instance, one thing people talk about a lot is Law and Virgo. So what makes sense to us is that Virgo, who was supposedly a Haki master, Doflamingo pretty much underestimated Law because he thought Law could not do anything with Virgo's Haki. Law more than likely had better Haki than Virgo anticipated, combined with his devil fruit, and he was able to overcome Virgo. Now that is speculation or just discernment from my part, and most people would probably agree with that, but it's not really clear. We then get to Doflamingo versus Law, and it gets to the point where Doflamingo is fighting Law. Law is trying to cut down Doflamingo, it's not working, but he's stopping Law's blade. His hand is bleeding. So some of the interactions are messy. Then we get to Haki, and then your Haki being depleted, specifically for Luffy. That's the only person who seemingly can run out of Haki. So how do you explain that? Haki is explained as a manifestation of will. How do you run out of that? Or not necessarily run out, because he has to take a break for 10 minutes using Gear 4th, but what is the issue with that? And I think the problem is a lot of these interactions happen so often. Again, for Future Sight, it's explained now for Future Sight that if you're flustered, you really can't use it. So that's a really clever way that Oda has used it. So Luffy isn't super overpowered, but Luffy with Future Sight, it hasn't had as much of an impact as we would have expected it to, because Oda just can't use Future Sight. He can't spam Future Sight that much, or Luffy would be unbelievable. I think before Wano and the explanation, Conqueror's Haki was regarded as just absolute trash. It was amazing, it was cool to see, but it had no real purpose. Now we know there's a select few that can use Conqueror's Haki, but not only use it, they can coat their attacks with it. Now, we have no idea what this means, right? It's supposed to be an amplifier, seemingly, but we don't know exactly how much of an amplifier. We don't know the benefits of coding your attacks. We don't know the downsides of coding your attacks. Why we love Haki is basically because it brings about a unique balance for the overpowered devil fruit users. And I think it's one of the best balances to a power system. Why we hate Haki is because it's so under-explained, and because it's under-explained, it's underutilized. You would assume that Haki would have somewhat of a system where someone could make their Haki unique to them, but we haven't seen that so far. Haki seems to be straightforward: armament, observation, conquers. One could say if Diablo Jambe or Ashura is unique forms or embodiments of Haki, that would be cool, but because we've only seen that from Zoro and Sanji specifically, we've seen other outliers, but mostly it's just them. What can you really say about that? Red Hawk, for instance, you can say Haki's involved because Luffy wasn't doing that beforehand, pre-time skip until he learned Haki, but some things could just be your soul, your spirit, which in a way is kind of tied to Haki. But soul and spirit, I think it's been clear that those things can be separate or different things, because we saw with Prometheus, who is the embodiment of Big Mom's soul, using her soul powers, it was not hurt by just regular armament Haki. So it's an entire thing, right? I'm not here to hate on Haki or devil fruits. I think it is one of the best power systems in shonen, period. The balance is astounding. The way Oda has been able to keep this story somewhat grounded over 24 years is masterful, right? We almost lost control in Enies Lobby with the Dorikis and stuff like that, but Oda pulled it back, got rid of Doriki, and said, you know what, nuance is going to rule. Nuance is going to reign, but he has different rules in place so that devil fruits can't go crazy. For instance, Law and his OP no Mi. He can't just spam shambles against people like Big Mom and Kaido because their Haki is too strong. What's the max, or who is the strongest that Law can move? For Big Mom and Kaido's Haki, is it always exerting Haki at the utmost level that Law can't move them? Could their Haki ever be depleted like Luffy's? There are so many different things that we have questions for, and specifically I think that holds Haki back, or Haki and devil fruits, from being the absolute best power system in shonen. I think if Haki was better explained, I think undoubtedly it would be the best power system in shonen. Nen is amazing, cursed energy is amazing, chakra is amazing, stands are amazing, but I think Haki and devil fruits, man, is just an amazing uniformity that I don't think any other series has. Like Naruto is fantastic with the Kekkei Genkai, the chakra, ninjutsu, taijutsu, genjutsu, that every series has their different things, but One Piece, I think, if Haki was just better explained, would clearly be the best. But guys, give me your thoughts. How do you feel about Haki in general, right? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's all right? Do you think Oda's done a good job explaining it? Do you think this is just a pre-time skip versus post-time skip thing? I don't know, but guys, give me your thoughts. Make sure to like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on Instagram at BragoD.ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Guys, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Okay, I start doubting me, I felt lost. I rewrite it.